Hi, good morning. This is Fred Henning from Out of Box Wealth. I hope you're having a blessed day and you and your family are doing well and everything's going good for you and something good is going to happen to you today. And wanted to ask you a question. Uh, and when in regards to becoming your own personal authentic self, or in regards to becoming happy and living your happy life, just simply being happy, having everything okay and everything good and everything peaceful, um, to have that happen in your life, is there an influence that is telling you that something really, really dramatic has to happen? Or is there something telling you that there has to have, something really, really extreme happen before you can experience that? Do you have to work, you know, maybe in an occupation that you don't like, or a job that you don't like, or with people that you don't like? And do you have to endure that for 20, 30 years and then you can be happy? And if that influence is there, I want to just simply tell you that it's not true. You don't have to wait. The experience that you desire to have is already there. It's already waiting for you. The plan that you have established for yourself to make it hard is what is making it hard. And there's also influence all around us that is trying to lead us in that direction. We have a system that is in place that simply creates workers. It creates workers on different levels. Some may appear to be higher than others. Some may appear to have more honor or prestige than others. But the truth of the matter is that it's all the same. And the influence that we have and that we receive really isn't about us being able to generate wealth for ourselves. And when you generate wealth, that's very, very quick. It doesn't take long. And the truth is that the principles that develop wealth, that create financial freedom, have been the same as long as we can remember, as long as humanity can remember. And there are simple principles that work for everyone, but everyone has to apply them to their own situation. So, if we are convinced at an early age that we have to go off and do something in order to be someone, and then we have to do something in order to be someone over a long period of time, and then cue the hero's journey. And the hero's journey is just this long, difficult journey that people have to go on and, face insurmountable odds, have to climb to the top of the mountain. They get halfway up and they roll back down, or they get halfway up and they get ambushed, or they get halfway up and something dramatic or tragic happens. And, it's, of course, we're involved with it. There's no good, bad, or indifferent. We're not blaming anyone here. It's what we have chosen as the human race. We have enjoyed all forms of entertainment, and because we have enjoyed entertainment, the bar's been raised, and it's been raised to quite an epic height. And with entertainment, the drama has to be in it, and the hero's journey has to be in it. Otherwise, we're bored. It's just who we have become. But the problem is that we create an alter ego. We create a mask. We create an avatar of ourselves that we are living through, but it's not really ourselves. And a lot of times we make the vision, or we make the dream that we truly have for ourselves way off in the distance. And again, it's something that we have to go through, maybe a lot of suffering, a lot of difficulty. We have to go through hardship. We have to go through pain. And a lot of people who have achieved greatness, that's a lot of times that's a part of their journey. They'll say, well, I went through these hard times, I went through these, it was hard, it was difficult. And then it communicates the message to us that if you want to experience that level of success, that you have to go through the hard times, and you have to go through the difficult times, and that you have to suffer like that. And then so subconsciously, that's what we do. We put ourselves into a time of suffering. And I know, because I've done it to myself many times. And so I experienced this myself. And with self-experience comes self-awareness. And when self-awareness is activated, it really is such a wonderful, wonderful gift. It's a highway to our true self. And when we can be in connection with our true self, with our higher self, with our authentic self, and we recognize all of the data, all of the influence, everything that opposes who we truly are, it's easy to delete all of that data, delete all of that influence, as long as we don't feel some way or some type of attachment to it. And what I mean by that is, the teaching and the influence that if you don't do this, something bad is going to happen to you. If you don't have a regular job and a regular this and a regular that, something bad is going to happen. And so it creates an interdependency. It creates a network, almost like a matrix of dependency based on fear of the future. And it creates a reality in our own being that the future is fearful if we don't do what someone said we need to do, or else something bad is going to happen to us. And simply being aware of that, simply knowing that influence and being conscious of that, can open your eyes to a lot of areas where that is working in your life and where it's keeping you in a place of unfulfillment, keeping you in a place of maybe even anxiety, and for some people maybe even depression, because when you feel like you just constantly, day after day, have to do something that you don't want to do, it weighs heavy on your soul, and it creates a burden that pushes down on you, not only emotionally, but because our emotions manifest the chemical process, they manifest and activate biochemistry in our body. It can tend to make us even feel heavy because our energy is being drained. And so sometimes what we're experiencing in our life that is not pleasant, it's not part of our authentic self, is actually a false understanding, a false mind. It's actually a network, it's actually a matrix that has been created worldwide to supply industry with workers. And it doesn't matter what the industry is. And we're coming out of, well, I guess we still have it, but for a large part of human influence, there has been fear of the future, and that fear of the future was used to build armies, and those armies then went off to war. And so when we come out of a war mentality, again, if you don't do this, some evil is going to come and take everything from all of us. That mentality creates a lot of harm for everyone, and yet we're still living it. We're still living in that system. We still live in a court-type judicial system that puts most people in the place of the defendant, and where we're constantly feeling like we have to defend ourselves, like we have to explain why we want to be happy, we have to explain why we want to have a good life, we have to explain why, and then after we give our explanation, it's up to somebody else to judge whether we're worthy or not. And see, it's that system that has been passed down to us, and it's that energy, that code, that matrix that is in fact running through our system, through our emotional system. It's passed down to us not only through experience or through watching movies and seeing that type of drama played out, but it's in our DNA. It's released to us. It's a program that is activated. So we got a lot going on. There's a lot going on that really is just simply ancient. It's draconian. It's based on a system that is falling apart before our very eyes. And the sad thing about things falling apart, it's kind of like a drowning person. If you're close, you might end up getting drugged down with them. You might get drugged down with this falling system. But the good news is that so many people are experiencing just a new hope, a new vision. They're recognizing that the old systems are falling apart, that they're not sustainable, and recognizing that sustainability is the true path to all of our future hope, happiness, peace, blessing, abundance, and well-being. And so it's actually moving in a good direction. It's just that it's a little chaotic, and chaos comes before, setting up a new structure. Before a new system is able to be birthed, sometimes there is a period of chaos, and we know that through the cyclic history, the history of cycles that was left to us by the ancients. We know that through the way that our solar system travels through the universe, travels through space, and receives influence from all types of different planets and systems and solar systems. So the experience that we are experiencing right now in an energetic way is one that has been experienced before, but the ancients have left instructions for us of how to deal with it and how to make the most of it and how to be able to control and manage our own emotions, so that while we are in this type of experience, we're learning the power that is available for us to master this experience. And when we master our current experience, we master our future. When we master our future, we do in fact become the master of our own destiny, the captain of our own ship. Isn't that exciting? And anyone can do it. It's what we're truly made for. It's what we're truly programmed for. And so if you're looking for a renewed hope, a renewed excitement, a renewed possibility in your being able to experience your own best self, your highest experience, your own authentic self, just know that it is there, and it is as powerful as it ever was before. It's as real as it ever was before. It didn't go anywhere. It didn't change. Just that our focus gets a bit distracted, and we focus on other things, and we don't tend to energetically feed that which we truly desire because we've been distracted. But when we know that, and we recognize that, and we realize that, all we got to do is reconnect and connect our energy to that possibility, and then we're on the path to manifesting it. A really interesting thing that I experienced, I was in a electronics technology class, and in that class, just about everybody was doing really, really well, but we had this one guy, and he had things going on in his life, so just was always distracted. Not always, but quite often he was distracted, and missed a little bit of school, and just wasn't at the place of the rest of the class. And it was really funny because, again, what we were trained to do was to fix and repair electronic devices, and even engineer and build new ones. And we had our teacher, who actually was he invented a lot of things. He was brilliant, and he was really cool too. He was a lot of fun to be around. And he was going to do he was teaching something in class, and he was getting ready to use a projector. That dates how far back there was an overhead projector. So there was a screen, and then there was a projector that you would put something on, and then it would project whatever you put on there onto the screen. Anyway, he flipped the switch and nothing happened. And in a classroom of wannabe electronics technicians, everybody whipped out their calculator. We're thinking, oh, it's got to be this capacitor, it's got to be that capacitor, it's got to be all these different things. And this guy who was again kind of struggling and was a little bit behind, he just looked down and he looked at the floor, and he goes, "Hey, plug it in." So it was actually unplugged, and all of us, we simply just made it harder than it was. Again, we tried to think we had to go through this extreme dramatic experience. We had to put our brains to work, and we had to work hard, and we had to figure it out. But there was just a very, very simple solution. But because our mentality was in a different place, we couldn't see it. And I don't think anybody else even thought to look to see if it was actually plugged in, including our teacher. So it's just a good example of what we can do to ourselves sometimes. And if that's the situation where you're in, it's my prayer and my hope that you'll see a simple solution where all you have to do is just plug it in. Love, peace, blessing, abundance to you and your family. Genothi Seutan. Know yourself. Namaste.